Yo, listen, today let's talk about the 3 books which helped me get to where I am right now in my journey, right? And so to start off really quickly, the first book is Letting Go by Dr. David R. Hawkins. I'll just put it on that side of the screen. Letting Go by Dr. David R. Hawkins, it was a really like pleasant read because it's easy to read, right? But at the same time, I'm just holding my hood because it's slipping off, man. But when you go through your own journey, right, what happens is you tend to get yourself exposed to different thoughts and different feelings, and you start to accumulate and build up to that when you reach to a certain point, right? Let's say, for example, you get into a fight, you get that anger for that person, and let's say that person does something else to you. You build that anger even more, and let's say there's even more situations which cause you to build that reservoir of anger. And so in basic terms, Dr. David R. Hawkins basically laid out the foundations to how to let go of the things which are being accumulated in your life. For example, let's say the things you are accumulating in your life are feelings of inadequacy or feelings of not being enough, right? The simple fact is these feelings of inadequacy are basically, these feelings of inadequacy are basically holding you back from being the person who you are. And so in order to let go of those feelings is just to feel them fully, and then they are let go of. But the book goes in much more detail than me. I'm just kind of paraphrasing it, right? But that's the number 1 book which helped me, and honestly it's transformed the way I understand the way I see my body and the way I see my thoughts. And every time I read it again, it's like I get a different meaning out of it, right? So the second book which helped me the most, I would say, is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, right? I read this book about 2 years ago when I was like 15 years old. And honestly, I just read all the book at once because I was in like a train and it was like a long 3-hour journey or something. And I was like midway through the book, so I just finished all of it. And honestly, this single book has changed the way I speak to people, right? Before, I couldn't even, listen, I'm recording a video outside in the park. Do you know how messed up that is? Or not messed up, but like how nervous I get. Do you know what I mean? If I hadn't read that book and there was people passing like by, I would be scared. I would be like shaking because it's just when you grow up with that sense of feeling of inadequacy, feeling of social anxiety, you just don't feel like people will accept you in a way, right? And so the more I read that book, the more I read How to Win Friends and Influence People, it just gave me a platform to know how to speak, how to lead. I'm gonna play football in this park in like a couple of hours, right? I'm gonna like put my kit on and come here. But the thing is, I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for reading the book and developing my social skills. Bro, I wouldn't be able to do that. And so honestly, that one single book helped me sort of find my path and navigate what I want to do and be this sort of a leader in my life and just change the people around me as well. Because a lot of the times what people teach you is that you need to follow someone else's authority. You need to follow some authority figure to keep you in check, right? However, you can be your own authority figure and sort of lead your own life where you want to go. And so when I read that book, it just kind of solidified the way I am right now, right? Honestly, I can go up to any guy, or even I can go up to any girl and I can just spark a conversation like that. It wouldn't take me like, my finger's broken, I can't even shit. Listen, if you're someone that struggles with social anxiety and stuff, I just want to give you like one message, right? Instead of being the person that suffers with social anxiety, I want you to think, what if you already are the person that doesn't suffer with social anxiety? What if you already are confident? And what is holding you back from being confident, right? What is holding you back from expressing who you are in public, right? Because a lot of times we think that we have limits on ourselves. We are not confident because of this happened and this happened. These people laugh at us and stuff. What if those limits are just in your mind and outside, in reality, they are not present, right? And so one mindset which I'd just like to share from this sort of the read which I had from How to Win Friends and Influence People is just to see that the limits that you place on yourself are not real, and the mere fact that you can see that you are socially anxious, you feel that you are socially anxious, is the fact that it's just the feelings from the past that are accumulating right now. But that doesn't define, the past doesn't define who you are right now. Do you know what I mean? And so the third book which helped me a lot, I would say, is Power vs. Force by Dr. David R. Hawkins, right? It's the same author as the first book I mentioned, Letting Go. And so Letting Go dived into more of the emotional side of things, right? It dived into more of the chart of consciousness and stuff. Power vs. Force is finding more of the empirical sort of evidences for the sources of consciousness, right? And honestly, the main reason I picked up that book was because of a suggestion by my brother Damien, right? He suggested me to read the book, and honestly, when I first picked up the book, it was very difficult to read because I was like, yo, I don't get this vocabulary at all. But then as I kept reading more and I went through my own life, and I went back to the book and I read more pages, I sort of understood the concept behind the book, and it's to the point where if I read it again, I might get a different meaning out of it, right? So I would just like to say, like, I haven't got the full understanding of the book. I just have the humility to say that, like, I genuinely don't know everything that the book says. I'm just giving you my own interpretation of that book, right? And so Power vs. 4 literally goes into the detail of showing you how your consciousness levels can be raised and stuff. And one of the tips which I'm literally gonna give you right now is to see life in more of a witness mode rather than things happening to you at a personal level, right? Because when you look at life in witness mode, you're literally observing things rather than taking them in to such a personal level. And when you take things into a personal level, what tends to happen is you tend to go into lower consciousness, because that's just the nature of things. And so what I want you to understand is the chart of consciousness is basically like on that side right there, you can see. The more you sort of heighten your vibration, the more you sort of experience the higher vibrational emotions, and the more you sort of attach yourself to the worldly things, you sort of identify with the lower ones. And so to keep it simple, the more you are in the mode of witnessing without any judgment, the more you will transcend into a higher vibration. Because the nature of things is, if you attach yourself to something transient, such as your emotions and sensations in your body, you will literally dial down your vibrational scale, right? And so with that being said, I hope this whole video was valuable. This was a comment suggestion by one of my subscribers. And so if you have your own suggestion on what video I should make, let me know in the comments on what will help you the most. And so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.